What's up, Quadcopter fans? HiringADrone.com. Today I'm going to be doing a video with the V303 Seeker. I'm going to be doing the pitch wire on the Walkera G2D Gimbal versus no pitch wire. So first we got the pitch wire in. Let's go ahead and fire the motors up and take off with the quadcopter. We have liftoff with the V303 Seeker. We'll just check out the gimbal to make sure everything is okay. It is slanted and crooked to the right side. I see a little bit of a vibration with it already. With this pitch wire in the Walkera 2G gimbal, I do get vibrations and a cockeyed gimbal even if I started off level on the ground. So we're going to fly it around. We're going to try pitching up, pitching down. So we're pitching down right now, and seems to be working. Quadcopter is holding its position, but it's drifting down whenever I do hit the pitch button. So I'm gonna have to give it some more juice here in order to get back up, even though it should be holding its position at 50% throttle. Just getting the pitch to stay correct on takeoff, and we're creeping back up, jamming on the button quite a bit here, so we should be about level. It's a little bit difficult to see. If this was FPV, it might make more sense. I'm just not flying FPV, so once this gets out there, I think I'm kind of level, but I can still see that the gimbal is cockeyed, so we'll keep pitching up, making sure that the function works correctly. Not sure what kind of jelloing effects we're going to get, just because this thing it vibrates so bad with this pitch wire in here, and I just can't seem to figure it out. Again, not a big deal to me because I'm not really after FPV with this at the moment. Maybe in the future I might be, and then I would need pitch up, pitch down, as well as I would need roll. So the 2G or G2D gimbal does not have roll, but you can see that the functions are working correctly with the pitch wire in there, so the signal is in there correctly. Just having real bad vibration issues with this. Now without the pitch wire in here, we'll do a comparison video, land it here shortly, so then that way we can see the difference between the two, of what they're going to look like. But we'll just fly around. Quadcopter is holding its position today, even with the pitch wire and gimbal and camera on there. I changed out the blades or props on there. I had a crease in one of my props, which was giving me a FOSS results, or FOSS test results on the last flight I had, lead me to believe that it was the gimbal causing the issue, when actually I had a blade that had a crease in it. So I'm going to bring it in for a landing. I don't like the way that the gimbal's vibrating around. You can see it, nice shot, and it's not what I'm liking. So I'm going to try to get this in here nice and smooth. Very little clearance on the gimbal to the ground. Don't want to bash it off of there, so find a nice level spot in a not level area, and we have touchdown. So that is the Walkera G2D gimbal, 2-axis. As you might have seen, it was slanted to the right, even though I held it steady after powering it up. I had some power up issues. It wouldn't power up the first 2 or 3 times I plugged it in. Looking at the bottom right now, there is a half green, half red light on the gimbal, so something must not be functioning correctly with this pitch wire in there. Possibly could have it in the wrong pin on the quadcopter. I was just copying that off of video. So I'm going to go ahead and take the gimbal off and try it again without. Okay, so gimbal is on, but I took the pitch wire off of there. So now we just have power running to the gimbal. We're going to see what kind of difference we get in regards to handling as well as the video. So this is without the pitch wire in the Walkera 2GD gimbal. Right off the bat, I can notice that there's less of a cockeyed slant with the gimbal. It's not vibrating as much from eyesight here, from what I can see. So we'll just go ahead and we'll fly it out and around the field. It is fairly windy today, but so far the V303 has been holding this position excellent. No complaints there. Been getting a little bit of decent range. I haven't had the headless or return to home mode ever since changing out the receiver and transmitter on the V303. Now it's flying like a champ. So it vibrates a lot less with the power wire unplugged, or I'm sorry, with the pitch wire unplugged and just the power wire in there. Not sure why. Whenever I got the V303 Seeker, it did come with the power wire. Did not come with any pitch wire or plugins for sending a signal to the gimbal. I'm just using a servo wire running a pitch wire. Saw it on another video. The guy was having some success with it, DJ Soulful, but he had an XK Detect, and his gimbal was working pretty good, but without a lot of vibration. So I'm getting mixed results with the power wire in there, with the pen wire out. Not too bad. It uses a weird sort of JST plug where you have, looks like what could be two signals and a power in the middle. So we'll take the quadcopter up here. So we're at maybe about 100 feet or so. I don't want to go too high up today just because of the wind. It is extremely windy. I was recording with my Mobius from my head cam, but I ran out of space, so I'm just using onboard camera today and recording the flight with the iPhone in regards to audio from the ground. So we won't get that ground perspective in the picture-in-picture like normal, but hopefully the SJ4000 is recording. I checked it before we took off. There was plenty of space, so we should get a fair amount of footage and time with the quadcopter. So we're probably going on about 6-7 minutes. 2700 milliamp battery. This is the original WLToys battery in here. Now with the gimbal, there is still another complaint. I do get the legs in the shot, so in post editing the video, you know, I do have to crop out, resize the video in order to chop the legs out. So don't think I've found a perfect shot or solution to get the legs out of the view of the camera. That's actually me, you know, removing it. Now I'm not, you know, using any anti-shake or anti-vibration on the editing software. I do have it turned on the camera itself. It still doesn't, you know, still doesn't stop the gelling effect from quadcopters. So I got it pointed back here at us. Just checking everything out. We'll continue flying. So I got a nice little field here where I can do some flying without any interruptions, passerbys, the trail or the mountain that I was flying on before. There's too many bystanders trying to talk to you while you're flying, so it makes it a little bit difficult, or giving you the stink eye, like you're doing something bad when you're just trying to fly your quadcopter recreationally. And I don't get that either, but so getting some decent flight time, getting some decent range, happy all around. The gimbal seems to be nice and steady. You know, hard to tell what the quality of the video is going to be. I don't have this hooked up for FPV, so your guess is as good as mine at this point. We'll have to see once we go back and edit and look at the video. But we'll cruise around here just a little bit more. Like I said, it is very windy today. That could play effect into the vibration of the video, because one of the things the V303 does is it It overcompensates quite a bit whenever the wind does blow, which isn't a bad thing, but it does cause some oscillation, which also causes vibration. So you know, you do get some jello, but typically just if it holds position, standing steady, you know, this thing will produce some pretty decent video. And you know, I shouldn't knock too hard on the Walkera gimbal just because the thing's dirt cheap. It's not expensive by any means. So one thing you'd probably want to do if you're using a GoPro, iLook, SJ4000, any type of heavier camera on the gimbal, they do make these almost like nails or screws, and you put them through where your bushings or your balls are there on the gimbal, so then that way if the balls do slip loose, your anti-vibration balls, you're able to keep your camera from falling from the sky. I just kind of went a cheap route here, and I just ran a zip tie through the same areas, just left it loose, so then that way if you know, it doesn't affect the vibration, it doesn't affect the flight, it's not putting any extra pressure or compressing those anti-vibration balls, but it does allow me, if the balls do slip through, which I've landed before and seen that they've almost came out, the GoPro and bottom half of the gimbal will not fall from the sky. So something to definitely think about. If you haven't done that already, I would strongly encourage you to do that, because you know, these things can come out of the holes, and then the whole bottom part is not secured to the top half of the gimbal mount, which will just cause it to fall out. So we're getting some good flight time in here, especially with powered up 2 takeoffs. So I'm going to consider bringing this thing down to land here shortly. We'll cruise it out one last time, just kind of circle around, get some footage here. And I'm flying with the tail to me for 2 reasons. One, so you just don't get a bunch of video of me looking like a dummy holding my controller, and 2, so I can see the lights on this because I was having range issues. So I'm going to start bringing this thing in for a landing here shortly. I feel like time is about up, so I don't want to push it, especially with this gimbal on here, sucking up extra juice, adding extra weight. These are prop stocks on the V303, so we're going to back it up. We need to watch out for these fence posts here. We're going to go ahead and try to find a decent spot to land, because there isn't much clearance with the gimbal and the camera on here, so very hard to find a level area where I'm flying here. So I'm just going to have to try to pick one real close, and we got landing. So it's vibrating pretty bad, just because it is touching the ground. Like I said, there's not much clearance here. So this is the V303 Seeker with Walkera G2D gimbal attached to it. No pitch wires, just power. And then the earlier video was the gimbal with the pitch wire in it. So we'll take a comparison. We'll see which one worked better. I'm having a feeling it's probably going to be the power wire, just due to it wasn't cockeyed, it wasn't vibrating as much. But you know, if this video helped you out in any way, definitely leave a like, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more upcoming videos here in the future.